and Conservation Bill 2024 introduces a clear and enforceable framework for using energy in smart ways. It promotes technologies and habits that reduce waste, lower energy costs, and protect the environment, ensuring that every kilowatt, a liter of fuel, and a piece of charcoal delivers maximum benefit. Here to talk to us about that is Engineer Emma Musime. She's the Senior Energy Officer at the Energy Resources Department in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. You're most welcome, Engineer Musime.
Thank you, Chris.
Great to have you on board. Energy Efficiency and Conservation Bill. Maybe before you go into the nitty-gritty of the bill, what is the overview in as far as energy efficiency is concerned?
Thank you very much. Yes, so when we are talking about energy efficiency and conservation, these are two different things but lead to the same thing. Energy efficiency is basically using less energy to perform the same function. And normally this is achieved using a technology. And then conservation is about using less energy, but because of a change in behavior.
Okay.
Yeah, so both lead to reduction in energy, more specifically a reduction in wastage of energy. Yes.
Okay. So what does the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Bill entail that specifically addresses those particular concerns, but also bring us up to speed with the broader aspects of the bill?
Now, to talk about this, I would like to highlight the four main elements of the bill. The first one is on what we call designated energy consumers, or the large consumers, or businesses or big commercial buildings that consume a lot of energy. I'd like to start by saying that 60% of our energy we consume in the country is consumed by these designated energy consumers. Yes, and we are saying that by the nature of the amount of energy they consume, they have a role to play in reducing our energy intensity. So the law is going to require these energy consumers to comply with certain aspects, such as having energy management systems in place. This would be systematic tracking and managing of their energy, having specific human resource to do this, conducting energy audits or energy assessments as an effort of trying to identify areas of energy waste and trying to trap it before it becomes a serious issue. So that is one aspect of the law that is going to look at the big consumers. Okay. Then the other one is on introducing what we call minimum energy performance standards. And this is in an effort to stop substandard or obsolete technologies entering the market. We have become a dumping ground for substandard products. They pass our neighbors and come into a market because they can't be accepted in other markets. So the law comes in to provide for establishment of these standards to ensure that we have quality products and efficient products in the market, and goes on further to say that these products should be labeled to inform the consumers at the point of purchase. Yes. And then the other aspect is providing for cooking technologies. As you're aware that majority of Ugandans, more than 80%, still rely on traditional technologies and traditional fuels such as firewood and charcoal. So the law provides for efficient, cleaner cooking technologies and alternative fuels such as LPG, biogas, ethanol, and briquettes. Yes. Then finally, the other aspect is in transport, where government is saying that is trying to put in place, first of all, standards for fuels. Recently, government introduced the biofuels program as an effort to green, I call it greening, the fossil fuels, yeah. But also, in addition, it's promoting, the bill promotes for alternative transport technologies such as e-mobility. So the law would be coming in to provide incentives in a way to promote e-mobility in the country. So those are the 4 main areas that the law looks at.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That forms, I think, within that lies the energy framework and aligning it towards Vision 2040, one that is also very heavy on climate goals for the country. How effective is this going to be? The alignment to Vision 2040 and the fact that we are experiencing, for example, when it comes to climate change and the goals that we have to meet, I think there is the need for trade-offs, so to speak, in order for us to meet our development goals. How does this improve, especially the policy gaps? You talked about the fact that some goods are rejected in other countries, but somehow they come to Uganda. I don't see it as a policy gap. It's a deliberate failure on the part of the people who are supposed to implement the policies in order to not allow some of these goods into the country.
So of course we have to be cognizant that while we want this law in place, the country noticed that there is a gap in terms of legislation that specifically addresses energy efficiency. And because of this gap, that's why we've had the issues of substandard products in the market, the issues of high energy intensity. And this energy intensity leads to us not meeting our obligations as a country towards reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. So this law comes to complement especially our Vision 2040, our NDP4, and the National Climate Change in an effort to reduce the energy intensity of the country and the associated greenhouse gas emissions.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, most Ugandans, like you said earlier, rely on traditional fuels, and the bill seeks to promote cleaner cooking options, including liquefied petroleum gas, biogas, and electric stoves. And what health and environmental gains, especially in the short term, should we expect? In the short term,
when we look at the current usage, again, the reliance is on old technologies. So us promoting more cleaner alternatives, like the ones that have already been mentioned, reduces the strain on our natural resources, especially our forests. Yes, but also it also reduces the indoor air pollution and the health risks that are associated with it. Yes, so those would be the immediate effects. Of course, not to forget that these more efficient technologies have an immediate impact in terms of seeing the effect on your pocket. You have reduced. Yes, that's very important.
Reduction in cost,
Yes, reduction in cost, yeah.
Okay. Now, obligations are, of course, lie at the consumer end, including for transport operators. And how does it effectively address the compliance issues, especially when it comes to the consumers themselves and transport operators who use many of the fuels that are currently available?
Obligations for the consumers, I would say that government is making a lot of efforts to create awareness among the consumers. Like, for example, I talked about the purchasing equipment in the market. If as a consumer you're going out to consume products in the market, you inform yourself, because most of the households we use in our house, most of the appliances we use in the households normally have a long period of usage, like 5 years. I have a fridge that I have used for 10 years. So if you buy a product, an energy consuming product, and you do not consider the long-term cost of operating that product, it becomes expensive in the long run. So consumers have an obligation to inform themselves when they're making these purchases at the point of purchase to avoid high energy bills in the long run. And also when we are talking about fuels, I would like to call upon especially the transport users to embark on these newer technologies like e-mobility. E-mobility now is still nascent, but it's something that is coming in to help us reduce on our greenhouse gas emissions in the cities. But also it is cheaper. It has been evidenced that it's cheaper than using the fossil bikes. So you find that a lot more e-bikes now are becoming more popular in the market. So I call upon the Ugandans to embrace these newer technologies.
Okay. Well, embracing is not a hard one, but many people might not have the sufficient information, especially when it comes to awareness. Manufacturers themselves often claim that they don't have the required information to be able to do the right thing. I know you must be rolling out sensitization campaigns. I don't know which, away from MorningAtNTV, that are being undertaken in order to raise awareness about what citizens and manufacturers ought to do on their part.
Right now, we are currently, the Ministry of Energy is organizing the Renewable Energy Conference. 2025, an expo that is supposed to take place from the 20th to the 22nd of this month. It's going to be here at Serena. And this Renewable Energy Conference is basically aimed at discussing and advancing the issues to do with clean energy. So some of these platforms are good for collecting different stakeholders, including the public, to talk about, to learn, to have information about these newer technologies, to inform themselves with information. So in addition to that, the ministry undertakes other awareness campaigns, regional campaigns to other areas of the country, and conferences are held to increase this awareness. So we call upon the public to participate, to come and participate in this such platforms, especially the coming Renewable Energy Conference, as a way of informing themselves.
Okay. Now, there is something that usually happens when a bill is being rolled out. Some stakeholders often claim they've not been consulted sufficiently. And there are fears, for example, that this could raise product prices and tariffs. How do you, I don't know whether it's to allay fears that it could actually lead to that, or it doesn't at all, but simply seeks to ensure efficiency and for some to save money long term.
Yeah, there's been that misconception that the bill may end up raising tariffs, and I would like to assure Ugandans that that is not the case. If you allow me to go into this further, energy efficiency and conservation reduces what we call the peak demand. Peak demand, in simple terms, is basically when there are times during the day when all the users are on the grid, and this puts a lot of capacity and pressure on the grid, which sometimes necessitates the utility to undertake load shedding for some consumers, and sometimes it and forces government to put a lot of investment into the grid in order to handle this peak demand. And we're talking about billions and billions of money. So energy efficiency comes in to reduce this peak demand. And when it does this, it means that government does not have to put in as much investment. Those resources can be used in other more critical areas like medicine or paying teachers more salaries and things like that. So energy efficiency, when it reduces the peak demand, it also reduces the tariff. Because remember, that investment has a cost implication on the tariff. So actually, on the contrary, instead of raising the tariff, energy efficiency does what? reduces the tariff. So this would help us to have more affordable tariffs in the market.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that one goes a long way in reassuring, especially those that were uncomfortable. Now, as we end this interview, something about energy security in the region, that is East Africa, and indeed Sub-Saharan Africa. This particular bill looks like one that seeks to strengthen Uganda's energy security in as far as our peers across the region is concerned. When you look at import costs and contributing to a more competitive economy, what assurances are there?
Of course, when we use our energy smartly, we reduce on the reliance for these imported oil products.
Yeah.
Of course, now we are talking about us having our own oil products, but even then, even when they come on board, we need to use them more wisely, more sustainably. Yes. So energy efficiency really empowers us as a country to be more wise in terms of using our resources, which makes us, which improves our security in terms of us not relying on these imported products.
Okay. Yes. Engineer Musime, your very last word as we close the interview.
Thank you.
There are an aspect one or two, a call to the consumers, especially the ones at the lower end of the pyramid who might not see themselves as big actors but are really heavy consumers. Is there a particular message for them? They tend to think they are not using a lot of power when actually they are using power because of the compounding effect.
Yes, yes. So I'd like to, thank you very much. I'd like to call upon fellow Ugandans that as government is trying to ensure to supply power, clean and reliable and affordable power to all Ugandans, that us also citizens, we have a responsibility to use the power we have or the energy we have in a more responsible manner, because we know as we save this energy, we save on our resources, but we want to also help government in its obligation to be able to supply us with this energy. So I call upon Ugandans to support, to welcome this bill and help the government in reducing its energy intensity.
Okay. Yes. Engineer Emma Musime, Senior Energy Officer, Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Many thanks. That will do it for the Tech Note, but do stay with us. The Kickstarter is coming up next. We shall be looking at the campaign